on the Junkyard. Oh, that's always so much fun. Welcome to another episode of the Beyond the Junkyard podcast. I am your host, Junkyard James, a.k.a. J Nice. And with me always is the good friend, KDAWG. How are you doing this lovely Thursday night?
We're going to need a catchphrase for that opening theme song. It's going to have to be like Cowbell Thursday. I don't know. But every time I hear that song, I'm just ready to explode with more cowbell.
Well,
Cowbell, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I got me some. This is not a sponsor, but some Miller Lite. If you want to sponsor me, I'll drink a beer. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be a good night on the podcast.
It's something never do it for free.
Speaking of actual partners and
absolutely, it's Miller time
and everything. Hey, we got this W Energy. They partner with us. Code at the bottom there, W.GG at checkout. Use code Beyond the Yard for 10% off. They got some new bundles going on. I think it's like $30-something for a certain amount of stuff, and then you can get an additional 10% off of what you're already saving using our code. So take advantage of that. It's pretty good. I like their pre-made drinks better than their powder, just because I'm lazy and don't like to have to make it myself. But anyways, let's get going because we got a pretty stacked prediction show for Forbidden Door. But one last thing, I have failed to promote this for some time now, but the website, y'all, junkyardmediagroup.com. You just go here, you can meet the team, read our profiles there, go to the blog. On the blog, well, we haven't kept up with that in some time, but we have the women of AEW. We Too Deep shits on AEW like he always does, etc., etc. You can listen to both the Slapping Meat Wrestling podcast and the Beyond the Junkyard podcast there. But the big piece is on our homepage. Let's get back there. These boxes down here, you can support and follow all of our social media pages. And then right here, a link to our Discord page. So please go to junkyardmediagroup.com and support our podcast that way as well. But let's get going. This card is heavy. We usually do hey, Tony Khan's going to add a bunch more matches after the podcast type thing. I think he did it before this week, this pay-per-view. Because
yeah, I'm not thinking that we're going to have that problem this weekend.
So here we go. Let's get going, my friend. We'll start with the matches that are on the pre-show. We actually get some 0-hour matches confirmed. There's 3 of them. We got Chris Statlander and Momo Watanabe versus Willow Nightingale and Tam Nakano in a pre-show match, tag team match. What is your prediction on this one, my friend?
Sorry, 1 second. I'm just catching up on everything here. Some matches I'm not real sure. just, I just have no idea. Sometimes it's like, what are we doing here? First of all, there's 4 matches, 4 women's matches on this card if you count for the pre-show matches as well. Pretty interesting, considering they usually don't have more than like 2. So, hey, you got to take it. Man, I am going to go with my biggest thing is I'm thinking of, all right, whoever loses this match is probably going to win in their tournament match. So I'm trying to decide who we want to do this. I'm going to go with Statlander.
Statlander and
and
Watanabe. I'm gonna go on the other side because I just love Tam Nakano and Willow Nightingale too much. Though I love Chris Statlander, but Tam Nakano is awesome. I think Willow is going to pin Momo, and Statlander doesn't have to take the pin. And so give me Willow and Tam Nakano. Next pre-show 0 hour match. Like you said, 4 women's matches all together on the show. Here's the second women's match on 0 hour. Mariah May versus Saraya, however you say it, in a first round women's Owen Hart Cup Memorial Tournament match. I got to go Mariah May because I predicted her last week to win the entire tournament. So give me Mariah May in this one.
I'm going to go Saraya.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Saraya. Actually, you know what? I'm going to scratch it. I'm going to go Mariah May as well. You know what? Consider the fact that the Outcast got the win last night. I don't see... it's going to be a tough one. But yeah, I'm going to switch it. I'm going to go Mariah May.
Alrighty, yes, sir. And then the last of the 0 hour match, we got a trios match with Los Ingobernables de Japón of members Yota Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi fighting the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Rey Fenix, and Mystico in a trios match. This is fun. I think, man, this is tough. But I think the relationship with New Japan and AEW is really well done. But I can't see the Lucha Brothers losing to all New Japan wrestling members. So I'm going to go Lucha Brothers and Mystico to get the win there. I think we are having some network issues on his end. So let's see. There we go. We got him back. Did you hear my answer at all?
No.
All right.
I didn't even get the next match we were doing.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. Los Ingobernables de Japón, members Yota Tsuji, Titan, and Hiromu Takahashi versus the Lucha Brothers and Mystico. And what I was saying was I love the relationship between New Japan and AEW, but I think this is an easy pick to have the Lucha Brothers win simply because I cannot see a team of all New Japan Pro Wrestling members going over some AEW talent. So give me Lucha Bros and Mystico.
You know, I know we have to. I know we have to differ, but I don't see that happening. On one hand, I'm like, well, what if Penta's contract is coming up? What if they don't resign? Maybe this is the start of him putting talent over. Phoenix just lost this past Wednesday, right? So yeah, we'll go Lucha Bros this one.
All right. And now we get to the main card. 3 matches on 0 hour to get us to the main card. I'm just going to go down the list that is on Wikipedia. And the first match they have here is the ladder match for the vacant AEW TNT Championship between Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, Dante Martin, Lio Rush, and then if we're keeping kayfabe, the winner of AR Fox and El Phantasmo, though it was already recorded, I can tell you the winner. Spoiler alert. Yeah, El Phantasmo wins. He gets the New Japan spot in this match since I guess Lio Rush is now on AEW's roster. You don't count as a New Japan guy. Yeah, this is a big match. Winner for the belt. I think they'll put this somewhere in the middle of the show. I don't think it'll start the show. But who's your winner?
You know, I see two outcomes here. Obviously, I'm going to only pick one, but I can honestly see Konosuke winning this match too. Being the heel, I think he just has coming off of Revolution. He's been a little bit in this kind of dull phase, but it would be a good way to elevate him back and kind of carry over the run again in 2023. However, I think it'd be hard to see Jack Perry not winning this match. So give me the scapegoats.
Man, this might be one of the harder matches to pick just because there's so many talented and deserving guys in this match. I am kind of in the same position as you. I got to go Jack Perry just simply because it seems like this was meant for him. This push at this moment. And I'm sure there'll be some tomfoolery with the Elite coming out. And so with that, I'll go Jack Perry as well.
Sounds about right. So far, I think we've only got one. One match so far that's not.
I think my strategy is going to be you're usually right all the time. So if I just pick the same people you pick, then I can be right most of it. The next match on this card is a singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship between Timeless Toni Storm and Mina Shirakawa. And they put in small print, Mariah May will be at ringside in support of both participants. And I think Mariah May plays a very big piece of this match. They're playing the Mariah You Have to Choose Sides card. It's going to be interesting. We saw last night Mariah took a hell of a shot from the champagne bottle. Got decked. And so does she turn on Mina? Does she realize that Tony ducked out of the way? I think this match will be very exciting. I don't think it'll be your 5-star in the ring contest. This is more of the WWE style match where they're going to tell you a story, and the story probably isn't going to be all in the ring. And so, anyways, long story short, give me Toni Storm to win this match.
Yeah, I think that the way that I see it, that it'll play out is Mariah is just going to remember the fact that while Tony moved out of the way, Mina was the one who hit her with the champagne bottle. Like, she could have stopped. I think ultimately that's going to be the deciding factor is Mina took the shot, and ultimately it's going to cost Mina the title, and Toni Storm retains. With the help of Mariah.
The help of Mariah. Now, I could also see, and I know AEW doesn't really like to have matches end without a winner, 1, 2, 3, or a submission. But this could end in a DQ situation where, like, Mariah costs Tony the match, but because it ends in DQ, Tony gets to keep the belt kind of thing. I could see that, but AEW's not a big user of those type of finishes, so I think it might be a. Mariah's going to play a piece, but I think we'll actually get a winner. We won't get a DQ. Next match on the card, I think this gets printed by like when they got verified as actual matches, because I don't think this order is going to be the order at all. But anyways, we got Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vacher. Winner takes all for the TBS Championship and the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship. I'm interested to see who you think wins this winner takes all match.
Let's entertain the thought of Mercedes Moné having a 1 month title reign with the TBS Championship, and we get Stephanie Vacher with both titles. That would be an interesting set of circumstances. However, I feel AEW has a much stronger relationship with NJPW than it does with CMLL, or than it does with any of the Mexican promotions in general. And this is only going to help NJPW grow their fan base a little bit more by having Mercedes go back over there and wrestle a little bit. This is going to be an interesting travel setup for her. But in the end, I think we will see double champ Moné at the end of Forbidden Door. She takes home the New Japan Strong Women's Championship and retains the TBS Championship.
Man, this is the wrestling fan in me would love to see Mercedes lose this match, because I think Stephanie Vacher is just a fantastic wrestler, performer. But at the end of the day, we just got to put logic in its place. That New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Championship was literally built for Mercedes Moné. Her injury happens to Willow at the show, caused them to give Willow the belt, and then scrap plans. And then she never wrestles again in New Japan, goes to AEW. And I feel like it's an easy play to call in Mercedes Moné. She's this leader of this global women's revolution, and she will be the global champion with she wins and has a belt in America and a belt in Japan. The belt that was literally built for her. So yeah, give me Mercedes Moné. Though I wouldn't hate it if they kind of swerved us and gave Stephanie Vacher the win.
I think that'd be a swerve that not many people would think really happens, but
Right.
It would be a swerve, that's for sure.
And the match, listen, if there had to be a trios match on the card, well, there's actually several trios matches on this card, but the one that should have been on the pre-show is not Los Ingobernables de Japón versus Lucha Bros and Mystico. It's this one. The Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and I guess I got to give you this spoiler as well. I think this was announced on Rampage. Jeff Cobb will be his third member on the team. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to watch it, they're going probably to announce it either on Collision or on Rampage, that it's Jeff Cobb. But we'll give you this because the shows are already recorded. But Jeff Cobb, Big Bill, Chris Jericho against Samoa Joe, Hook, and the Riz Master, Katsuyori Shibata. Who wins this match, my friend?
Wow. This is actually a really tough match to call. Because I honestly feel that if you have Jericho lose here, that I don't know, I just feel something's off if they have him lose. But Joe and Hook just became a team, and I don't see either one of them taking the pin, and that means that Shibata would take the pin, and that unfortunately can be seen as happening. I guess I'm gonna have to kind of bite my tongue with it, and I'm just gonna have to go with it. I'm gonna pick the learning tree and friend to go over here and win.
Hey, so this is probably where we break up here, and I'm going to pick Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata to take the win, for the simple fact that I hope, with having Chris Jericho lose again, that they can just write him completely off TV, and we can be good again, because I fucking hate every time he comes out. I get what the point of the gimmick is. I just fucking hate it. It's awful. We don't need it anymore. It's ran its course.
Just because if he loses Sunday doesn't mean that we'll have to write him off TV. He's still at the FTW title. He's still going to be on TV.
Well, let's pray that Samoa Joe does to Chris Jericho what he did to Brian Keith, because please, for the love of God, Tony Khan, I can't stand it. Every time I'm a learning tree, I want to die. I want to die.
Great segment.
Never. Something fell. But anyways, to an actual wrestling match, we go to a regular singles match between Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. and what is legitimately a match of just completely different styles. And I don't know how to call this, because Orange Cassidy, he's kind of built this gimmick as, all my friends have left me, I don't have anybody in my corner. But then the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii, shows up on Wednesday, and who else was in his corner? Was it Kyle O'Reilly? No.
Yes.
Kyle O'Reilly, yeah. Oh, yeah, because they're, I guess, kind of in that weird trio. What do they call themselves? With him, Mark Briscoe.
I forgot. They came up with the name on Wednesday. The contingent. I don't know what they call themselves.
So I guess they're a trio now. I don't know. So this is just tough. It's tough. I think they got to continue with the story that Orange Cassidy's kind of in a loose streak. So I'm going to pick Zack Sabre Jr. to win this match.
I did not see you picking him. But I, too, think that we have to continue with the story. And as one of New Japan's best, I don't think you just have him lose.
Right.
Even though I know it's an AEW more so themed show than NJPW, I just don't think you can have the talent of Zack Sabre Jr. lose here.
Right.
Excuse me. Maybe they set up another match down the road at Tokyo Dome or Dominion next year, something different. I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to pick Zack Sabre Jr. as well.
And we move right along to a singles match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match between Jon Moxley, defending his belt, against the same guy he won the belt from, Tetsuya Naito. And I'm already going to call it. I think this is going to be match of the night. Moxley and Naito have such good chemistry together. They put on really good matches. And then the rest of the card, like Swerve and Ospreay, are going to have a good match. Maybe Danielson and Shingo will be up there in consideration. But Moxley and Naito have had really good matches before, and I think they'll have a really good match again. And Moxley's had a good run as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, but his run ends on Sunday. Give me Tetsuya Naito to get the W and bring the belt back to New Japan.
That would make sense for most people. I'm just not one of those people. I think that Moxley will lose the belt in a month or two when they have the Capital Collision show in DC, but it's an NJPW theme show, so they're going to have an NJPW guy be there, I think, or just down the road in general on an NJPW branded show. I think it'll be a very strong match, very good match, but I am going to say that Moxley retains the IWGP World title and defeats Naito.
That would make sense. Moxley has had a good run with the belt. Maybe he has a little bit more left. And hey, if you're watching us, mention who you think's going to win in the chat. We'll maybe add you to this. We're halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway through, but hey, we'll add your name to it, or shoot us a message and let us know who you think wins, and maybe we'll make that a thing now on that. We'll have some people come in and winner get something out of your All Elite crate. I don't know. We'll see. Bring people in here. That's for a future. Yeah. That's for a future episode, though. Let's get going. We got a few more matches here. This match is a little weird. I think maybe this was just to get a CMLL guy on the card. But MJF has a singles match against Hechicero in a singles match. Man, I don't know how I feel about this match. I love the story with MJF, though. He is trying to find his Wembley opponent and threatens to say that, hey, Danny, I'm going to give you this match. I'm going to give you a match at All In. And Ospreay interferes, leading me to believe at Wembley Stadium, MJF will not fight Daniel Garcia, or at least will not fight him in a singles match. That Will Ospreay and MJF will have a match at Wembley Stadium because Danny Garcia gets a Continental Championship match. I think that's the title. International, whatever. International Championship. There's Continental, International. There's so many. Okada has.
There's Intercontinental.
Okada has the Continental belt, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, who hasn't defended like a month and a half, yeah. Correct.
But anyways, yeah. So interesting thing. I think MJF wins. Again, same reason as a couple matches before. This really isn't really even a CMLL themed show. They just have some CMLL guys on the card. So it wouldn't make sense for your guy, your top guy, who rumors say you're paying like $20 million a year for, to lose to a bad comic book character and Hechicero. I think that's what MJF called him yesterday, something like that. And so, yeah, give me MJF with the W.
Yeah, I don't see MJF losing this. This is his first official match back, I believe, since Double or Nothing. Yeah, no way you're going to have him lose. So, Maxwell.
Jacob Friedman. And then Tony Khan said, we had to add an extra match to the card. So we're going to put our tag team champions and our Continental Champion, the Elite, Okada and the Bucks, against the number one contenders for the tag team champions. It would make sense that, we could just have the damn tag team match, right? No, we have to have a trios match. And Hiroshi Tanahashi will partner with the Acclaimed to create Scissor Ace, I think is what he called them. What's your thoughts on this match?
I don't know, because they're going to have a future tag team championship match. I guess my thinking is, are we going to have them go 2-up on the Bucks, but yet the Bucks retain the titles eventually? Like, it's kind of a weird dynamic in all this. I think Tanahashi is a very selfless, not selfish, but a selfless person, to where he would say, you know what, let me take the pin, guys. I got this. But that's president of NJPW. Like, I don't. It's a weird match. You have the EPPs versus the president of NJPW. Man, again, I mean, do you have the claim 2-up? Do you have the Bucks take this and then maybe you claim win the tag team titles? Like I don't know. This whole thing's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
man.
Like I said, it felt like it was thrown together at the last minute. Like, hey, we have to get the Bucks on the card, kind of thing. I don't know.
I am truly torn on this. I just have no idea. This is one of those matches that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for either one of them to lose, given that there's still a story to be told after this. And it's like,
right.
I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to go with the Acclaimed and Tanahashi. I just think that it's going to come to a whole fold where the Acclaimed, are confident in their tag team title match against the Bucks, but yet the Bucks get the upper hand and win the match and keep the belts. But not an easy match to predict at all.
All right, y'all. I don't know what the hell just happened. I have no idea what just happened to my computer. But we're still
our show without some
difficulties. Hey, but we're still live, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Anyways, what were you going with that? I missed like last 30 seconds or so.
This is an incredibly difficult match to predict with Tanahashi and the Acclaim versus the Bucks and Okada. I just, there's still a story to be told, and this whole thing, I don't know. I'm going with the Acclaimed and Tanahashi to say that the Acclaimed have the upper hand twice against the Bucks, but when it comes down to it, the Bucks are going to keep the belts and win their match for the tag titles down the road. But it's such an awkward match to be thrown on this card.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand the match either, why it was needed. I'm going to go, though, and I think Tanahashi takes the pin from Okada. And I think that'll set up a Tanahashi-Okada feud for Wembley Stadium. They're going to have a marquee match for Okada, I think, and that way it keeps the Acclaimed out of taking a pin. It takes the Young Bucks out of taking the pin, and then we can kind of continue taking this story. And so I'm going to go the Elite winning, but Okada gets the pin.
Interesting.
And so we move on to an men's Owen Hart Cup tournament first round qualifying match. Well, actually, before we get to this match, speaking of the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and speaking of the Young Bucks, that segment last night where they basically said, hey, we're going to pick who the wild card is, makes me think, is Hangman joining the Elite? Like, I think we all feel like Hangman's the guy, but didn't Hangman get kicked out of the Elite like months ago?
So, if you remember the segment, they kicked Omega out of the group,
right.
But they just suspended Hangman. Right. So, evidently, Hangman was a part of the Elite. They suspended him. Maybe they're like, okay, you're unsuspended, back in the Elite. Unless they just pull out a brand new member, and I don't think that's going to happen. So,
right.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Hangman.
Absolutely. That's right. I thought that's right. They kicked Omega out and suspended Hangman. Maybe suspension's over, and he still has his gripes with. Because remember, Hangman got suspended because he put his hands on AEW officials. So maybe he has some gripes with AEW, and the Bucks have brainwashed him to join the cult. But anyways, let's get to the match between Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. I think I'm saying his name wrong. They were saying it differently, I believe, on the commentary team last night. But Shingo Takagi versus Bryan Danielson. Like I said, this probably is in competition with Moxley and Naito for match of the night. This is going to be a very good match. And winner advances to fight Pac in the next round of the tournament. And I have to go with Bryan Danielson on this one. Simply because I feel like he's going to the finals. And he'll lose in the finals, but I think he'll go to the finals. And to get to the finals, you have to win on Sunday. So, Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I also think this is going to be one of the matches of the night, if not the match of the night. It's going to be very, very good match. I have Danielson going to the finals as well. I'm still iffy on if I think he'll win it because I have a couple different theories on that, and most of it's based off of the main event. If Danielson goes all the way to the finals, do we get a Swerve versus Danielson? Do we get a Ospreay versus Danielson too at Wembley Stadium, which would be phenomenal main event for sure.
Or do we get a Daniel Garcia versus Danielson match? Because remember, if Ospreay wins on Sunday, Wednesday it's winner takes all. So
it won't be Daniel Garcia at all in the main event of Wembley Stadium. I love you, Danny boy. That ain't happening. Yeah, if Danielson gets a win here, I'm not going to say anymore until we get talking about the main event. I'll kind of say that. But yeah, Danielson wins.
All righty. I can't remember. I gave my prediction. Yes, Danielson. Yes, that's right. I did.
Danielson.
Okay. It's the technological glitches. They're throwing me off here, guys. The good news is
we got 6 for interfering with our internet.
Good news is, guys, we have one more match to talk about, and that is our main event for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship between Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana in his corner and Will by God Ospreay. And let me tell you something, friends. If you weren't intrigued in this match already, the way Dynamite ended last night should have gotten you ready for this match. Ospreay jokingly takes the world title away from Swerve, and Swerve absolutely punted this man's face off.
I think they're still trying to find in the city of Buffalo?
It looked like Tyler Bass's kick when he went right against the Kansas City Chiefs. But anyways, yeah, I got a self-inducing pain there. Thank you, Bill.
The only way to get over it is just to make fun of it. That's it. And douse yourself in alcohol.
Absolutely.
That's the best way. Best way to cure it.
And anyways, yeah, man, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. The ending, so coming into last night before Dynamite was on the air, I was pretty confident Swerve was going to win. But the way Dynamite ended has me very, very second guessing myself. Because Swerve left as the last thing you saw on TV last night. And maybe this is just the WWE programming me to realize usually if you're on top as the go-home show is off the air, you're losing on the pay-per-view. But, man, I don't know. Because, man, this is tough. But I'm going to, I don't know if you can call this an upset. But I think Will Ospreay is going to be your AEW World Champion Sunday night. Because, and I don't know. That's the feeling. And he talks about the feeling all the time. Daniel, you want to give him the feeling, bruv. Let's give him the feeling. And let's have that match on Wednesday, Beach Break, be for more than the international belt. Let's give them an international and AEW World Championship match on Wednesday. Will Ospreay gets the W.
So I have that same thought process of I told my wife this for weeks last night. I love Ospreay. I am a big fan of his. You're a big fan of his. My wife, that's her favorite wrestler right now. The entire week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he's gonna get his first loss on Sunday. It's gonna happen. Sorry, I love Ospreay. He's just gonna lose. And then Swerve leaves the show on top. And like you said, it's that WWE mindset that is just plagued into our minds ever since we were kids watching wrestling that, you think you got me, but you don't. And AEW has been pretty good about, while my prediction record is great, some of these matches have been pretty hard to predict. And it's just kind of a luck of the prediction, I guess. I look at it a couple different ways. Going back to the match we talked about before with Danielson and Takagi, however you say his name. One of the more perfect settings for Danielson to go out as his final full-time run. He's still going to be wrestling, but this is his final full-time run. What better way to end that full-time run than in the main event at Wembley Stadium in front of, as of right now, 42,000 people. Could be 50, could be 60. It just depends by the time we get to the show. Him versus Swerve or him versus Ospreay. Flip side of the coin. AEW, I think some people, while I don't listen to Busted Open anymore because they're a WWE stand podcast and show, they don't really care about the entirety of the wrestling industry. Tommy Dreamer is about the only legit person that I would listen to on that show now. And it's been pretty much proven that Busted Open is just a WWE safe haven for talk wrestling. But anyways, Bully Ray is right in the aspect of AEW sometimes, and in WWE, he criticized that WWE sometimes just needs to take the chance, bite the bullet, go with the feeling, go with the momentum, go with the flow. And AEW has been criticized that, but then they kind of started doing it a little bit more. Like they should have made the Acclaim win against Swerve and Keith Lee before Grand Slam, but it was a bigger stage. That's why they did it. Swerve all of a sudden got super hot at the end of 2023 and early 2024. And they pulled the trigger on him, I think a little bit early, but they did it, and gave him the world title at Dynasty. I'm not a fan of 3 world champions in 7 months. So that's my biggest gripe with all this, is that if Ospreay wins on Sunday, that's the 3rd world champion, technically 4 if you want to count MJF, in the last 8 months.
Right.
I'm not sure if I'm wanting that. That's going to be the tough part, is how do you look at that?
DJ Wavy D is in the chat, and he just put something in my mind that I almost completely forgot about, to be honest. Remember, I think it was the intro promo to Dynamite last night against MJF, where Will Ospreay says, I don't need the Don Callis family.
Correct.
So,
that was my first seed in my mind of, Ospreay's losing this match because of the Don Callis family. That was my first inclination of when this match was official, and then he made that comment a few weeks ago. I'm like, yep, that's right there. Callis is going to cost him this world title. But again, we go back to you feel the moment, you feel the magic, and AEW sometimes pulls the trigger on that. So then your question becomes, 40,000 tickets is a great number for any wrestling promotion. SummerSlam's at 46,000. They're probably going to get 50. I don't know if they're going to open up the other half of Cleveland Brown Stadium. Even if they do, they'll probably sell that. If they don't, whatever. Is AEW trying to plan for this one big show that, listen, we got to have the hometown guy, the hometown fan-fevered favorite over there in England to headline his own pay-per-view. He had a great showing last year against Jericho, but he wasn't a member of the AEW roster. Now he is. Wouldn't it be something if he went back to Wembley Stadium as the AEW World Champion in the main event against Bryan Danielson, and they had a great match at Dynasty, and it's just going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to sell more tickets. It's going to sell more pay-per-views. You got to hold off on it. As hard as it is to do it, you got to hold off on it, because now that'd be putting them in a bind. Now you're going to be the AEW World Champion and International Champion. Daniel Garcia is now not going to win at all on Wednesday. Who knows? Maybe Ospreay loses on Sunday, Ospreay loses on Wednesday, but yet somehow intertwines and comes back and, like Wavy D said, challenge for the world title at Wembley. However, the whole tournament thing kind of throws a wrench in everything. It's a elongated answer that I'm going off with this, but it's just, that's how my mind thinks, is now it's a trickle effect of how is this looking going to look, not only for Sunday, but for Wednesday, and now we have to worry about another month and a half for Wembley Stadium. I think that AEW will be putting themselves in a huge bind if they put the title on Ospreay right now. My thinking is that we need to have him as that Grand Slam champion, but he's got to do it the right way. When a title loses, the title go next. When the title loses, the title go up next. I don't think you can just automatically put the international title and the world title on him like that. I just don't think so. With all that being said, I think Swerve does win on Sunday. I think he does keep the world championship. If the Don Callis family does cost Ospreay the match, and then we may get the Ospreay versus MJF match for the international title at Forbidden Door, or not, excuse me, at All In Wembley. That would be a fantastic feud and a fantastic match that can still sell you some tickets, that can still sell you some stuff, and you could still have Danielson win and be in the main event for the world title at All In with him versus Swerve, if they want to go down that route. And I think it would still do very well. You still have Ospreay going into that pay-per-view with the international title, so he's still Bellator champion. To me, that just makes most sense in my opinion. And that's another thing with video. I don't know if you're going along with this, if you see that, but that comment about being the wild card, that's an interesting twist in that. That's an interesting
and it is
twist.
interesting.
But remember, the elites,
right? The elite have said that they get to choose the wild card. Now, could it, because a lot of the times when the elite have said they're making a decision on something, Tony Khan and Christopher Daniels have kind of blocked their decision. So could it be like, hey, we want to give Hangman this spot, but Tony Khan has someone else in mind? And I feel like, though, if they were going to go down that road, it would be a debut. It wouldn't be Ospreay gets this opportunity. It would be like Ricochet or something debuting. If Tony Khan would be like, no, we're going to give the wild card to like someone that I want, someone that's going to represent the company better than who you want. Anyways. Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is even a thing that could be a possibility. But a certain somebody made it known that he wasn't re-signing with WWE and put his letter out on social media. Tag Tony Khan.
And tomorrow's his last day.
Tomorrow's his last day.
Dijakovic. I could see it. I like Dijak.
I could see that.
I could see. I don't know if he fits the AEW roster per se, but I could see the shock value of having a Dijakovic in as the wild card. When the first run he had in NXT, when he actually went by first name Dijakovic, I can't remember what his first name was. Before they changed it to T-Bar and then Dijak, he was really good in NXT. And then they called him up and absolutely shat on any momentum he had in NXT. So he can perform. I like Dijakovic. I don't know. I just don't know how he would fit. Like, he seems more like a TNA guy. Like hey, they didn't even offer me a contract, but I'm going to go work for TNA and still have an opportunity to show up on a WWE show at some point because we're working together type of thing. Which is exactly what they're doing with Brooks Jensen, which I'm sure you have absolutely no idea who Brooks Jensen is.
Is that a mix between Brooks Orpik and Nick Jensen?
No. It's a guy that was in a tag team, but then his tag team partner left him, and then he sucked as a singles wrestler. So he hasn't re-signed his contract. And so they want him to work independent shows because apparently WWE is doing that now as part of a story that WWE is not re-signing him. And part of the story is he missed his first independent show booking because he's at the bar drinking. Like it's basically a Adam Hangman Page on Wish.com storyline. He just drinks his sorrows.
Sounds like the Devon Dudley storyline from 02, but he's not a reference, so I guess it doesn't totally fit it.
But I don't know. I could see Dijak in AEW. I just want to see the tag team division revived again because it seems like it's kind of taken a back seat. And it almost feels like they want to wait until they sign either Grizzly Young Vets or Motor City Machine Guns or both of them to really start pushing the tag division again. FTR, your workhorse tag team, is out on injury. The Acclaimed were like catering of all catering, and now they're in the main, like the number one contender for the tag team division. So, I'd love to see the tag team division get better. The women's division, 4 matches on this pay-per-view. They're doing good. They're doing really well. The men's like mid card and up is doing really well. It's just kind of like the tag team and the trio scene and all of that mess is kind of what was kind of taking a second fiddle to some of the other things. The trios picture is kind of weird because it feels like they want to push Jay White as a singles wrestler, but they don't. And they want to push Malachi Black as a singles wrestler, but they don't. And like Buddy Matthews has been gone for fucking forever. Can you please come back after your honeymoon, I guess? Congratulations.
Well, it's been 2 or 3 weeks.
And I don't know. And then like Christian and the Patriarchies in the trio scene, but yeah, like Christian didn't even really fight in the trios match that they were supposed to have on Dynamite. Like that was kind of weird. And so I don't know. The tag team and trio scene is kind of interesting. But any last thoughts, my friend, before we log off for the night?
It's gonna be a long show again, but it's gonna be a good show overall. I think the AEW scene is just in a little bit of a funk because of the Forbidden Door season stuff. But that's why they gave it almost a 2-month build up for Wembley, which is a good idea. Don't have a pay-per-view in July. Let's give Forbidden Door as cool as a show and a theory and a thought and an idea and an event that it is. Let's get it out of the way and let's have a good, strong month and a half lead up for Wembley and make it the best card we can and really get back to getting these stories locked in for Wembley. But I'm not saying that I don't think Forbidden Door is going to be a good show. I think it'll be a very good show. It's just I think AEW from a storyline perspective gets into a little bit of a fun during this time of year. After this, we have a good solid almost 60 days to get ready for Wembley. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be an interesting card. I always think Forbidden Door. Now, I know we have our good friend Jason Clodfelter who basically says he doesn't give a shit about this pay-per-view and that the build hasn't been great. I always feel like Forbidden Door is one of their better pay-per-views in the year and the schedule. I love the Forbidden Doors, but maybe that's because I kind of know more of the New Japan wrestlers than a lot of other people do. And we will say this. This pay-per-view is not built for the casual audience. This pay-per-view is literally built for the people that know New Japan Pro Wrestling, know AEW, know CMLL. So don't come in here expecting a casual pay-per-view. This is meant for the sickos, as Tony Khan likes to say now. And so, yeah, it's a because I am one of these diehard wrestling fans, I always find this one of the better shows. Now, I'm going to say this. The card last year was a hell of a lot better than the card this year. But when you put Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega in the main event, like you're going to have a better card overall. This is the period of time last year where Jack Perry turned heel because he lost to he lost
the Four Pillars World Title match at Double or Nothing, and then after that,
and then in Forbidden Door he got an IWGP World Title match. I don't think it was Naito, but it might have been Naito that had the belt again because they seem to always put the belt on him. It might have been one of the other guys. He lost that match, which led to him and Hook feuding because he wanted to be a champion, which led to him feuding at Wembley with Hook, which led to CM Punk leaving the show. So thank you, Jack Perry. Anyways, anyways, until next time, y'all, remember, go to w.gg, code at the end, Beyond the Yard for 10% off. We are a WWE shop partner as well, but this is an AEW pay-per-view night, so we won't mention them that much. The link is in the description. Let us know what you think. Follow all of our social media pages. They're all found at junkyardmediagroup.com. Until next time, you folks, we'll see you on the flip next week on the Beyond the Junkyard podcast.